What's up, guys? Welcome to Tenacity Talks, episode 4. I'm the host, Lampy. I'm here with how do you pronounce your last name?
Gersha.
Jay Gersha,
Gersha.
music,
Yeah.
up and
Hey,
coming
what's up, guys?
EDM artist.
Hey.
Yeah. So what's up, dude? How you doing, man?
I'm chilling. Chilling on a Sunday night. How are you?
Yeah, nice Sunday night. I'm chilling, man. It was nice out today.
Yes, it was.
It was all
It
nice.
was.
Yeah. So I just have these list of questions here for you. So first question is like what got you into music? First off, like what was the driving force behind it?
Um, in the EDM scene, they make when there's like a festival, they have these after movies. That's like a cinematic recap of what the weekend was like. So they like have the footage and they have like the newest songs out, and it would be like Tomorrowland 2012 after movie or Ultra 2012 after movie. And those were the ones that I first saw on YouTube when I was like 12. Um, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I first started getting to that music because I just listened to regular like radio pop, whatever was on the radio. That was my first inclination that like there's a whole nother world of music. And in that same year, or 2013, I was in seventh grade and I just went to a party and some kid was DJing, and I was like, "Yo, I want to do that like bad." Like I don't know, something about it was just like so alluring, and I was like, I feel like I could do it, and I feel like not even in a like overconfident way, but I was like, I feel like I could do it and do it really good.
Yeah.
So then I just like do like he literally was DJing from an app, so I downloaded the same app and then like just brick by brick builded it.
Yeah, like you built on top of it and
Yeah,
over
baby
time.
steps like crazy, but it was exponential. Yeah.
That's cool. You got any like main inspirations, like any like DJs or anything?
Yeah, I mean, starting out, I was into like guys like Skrillex and Dead Mouse, and they were super mainstream artists.
Yeah, what year is
And
this?
then
When you
this
started going?
was like
Yeah,
2013,
they were like,
12,
yeah,
2014. You know, a lot of Skrillex's music was in montages. Like it's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, those guys, I mean, they still are, but like not main because it always changes. I don't have like one guy I look up to. I look up to a lot of artists and also a lot of artists that are up and coming because I like people that are like innovative and just do like wild shit but make it work. It's super cool and refreshing to hear that because it makes you inspired. So, um, honestly, to list off a few, like I love Porter Robinson. He released an album in 2014 called Worlds. I think that's the best album like ever. It's so good. It's like I can't really explain it, but it's um it's very like cerebral, but like heavy drums, but like not fast, like 4/4, like kick, clap, and just like its own world, so to speak. And another guy I like is San Holo. I'm wearing a sweatshirt right now. Shout out, stay vibrant.
I think I do know who that is.
Yeah. San Holo is super cool. He used to make like in that time of 2013, I was on SoundCloud, and San Holo was putting out like trap flips. So he put out the next episode
Oh,
remix.
that's how I know him. Cause
Yeah,
that got
that.
big. That was big back then.
Yeah, and there's like so many other ones like that. I think there's like a Will Smith one. I'm botching it. It's so bad. There's so many of them during that time that he would just like grind it out. And then he like evolved his music and like I got so like there were like things from all these artists that I liked certain things and I kind of like took them and like morphed them into how I would go about it. Like maybe adopt something they did or not, or base what I'm doing off them or vice versa.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, back in like 2012, 2014, when you said Skrillex, like he was big back then. Like
Yeah,
that was
he's
like the
massive.
biggest thing, especially because like I don't know. Obviously, like back 2012, 2014, I played a lot of Call of Duty, and like
Same.
it was everywhere with
Yeah.
Skrillex.
I would play my first COD was World at War on the Wii. And then
I mean, my first COD was I think Modern Warfare on the DS. So like,
yes, it's wild. Yeah. And then the first COD I actually grinded was I grinded Modern Warfare, but I didn't have it. My friends had it. I just would grind it at their houses. But Black Ops One, and when I would play Black Ops One and just like play multiplayer, I just put on those songs that like this like I would like almost make a list, and every time I'd play, I'd have like four or five new songs, and then it kind of morphed into me getting a mixer, and then pretty much starting producing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So what's your creative process when it comes to making something new and different?
Yeah, I'd say it's very different, but it all stems from a very similar place. And sometimes you like force it, sometimes force it in terms of sitting down and being like, okay, like I want to do this, but I don't have this like feeling like, oh my God, something's magic. It's like, no, it's just like I'm gonna like throw shit. Let me see what sticks. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's not like that, and you like maybe have a sample, and you have this like 4 bar melody, and it's in A major, and you could look up A major and see the notes, the scale, whatever, do that shit, and then you get inspired by a specific thing, and then it grows. They're like those are like the two main things I feel like for most artists. It's either one way you're just sitting down and just throwing shit and see what sticks, and then when something happens, then you go with it, and then you're like, nice. But it doesn't happen unless you keep trying writing a melody, then that doesn't work. So you write some chords, it doesn't work. So like a drum beat, that doesn't work. So you could try and sample your vocals, that doesn't work. So there's all these
Mhm.
things you could do to get something.
Yeah. So do you have that problem? Because like when I try to make my music, you ever have that thing where like, like you said, you like sit down, you're like, I'm gonna make something. Like those times when you're just out and about and something pops in your head.
Oh yeah.
Like what do you do to like, what do you do about that? Because like you're gonna forget it. Because like I know there's stuff that always comes to my head that I just completely forget, and I get kind of like pressed about it. Like damn, I can't believe I forgot that. That
Yeah,
would have
I
been
have a
nice.
list in my I have a list in my phone. Like
Yeah.
that's like in notes, that's like so long of song names, lyric ideas, and pretty much ideas more of like music ideas. Like it would be like vague things. Like this person's style beat, comma, this vocal, try this, dot dot. And I would like know what it means. Or I'd be like I just like things would pop up and I would just go right to there. I know which note it was, which page, go into it, and then add it on. Like I even have like from back then like different names that I had instead of just going with my name. I even have like all the names I was trying because they would just come to my head. Like it's all organized. So I feel like you can do that. Some people don't do that, but I like to do that because there are, or if I'm listening to a song and I'll screenshot it so I have it in my camera roll. Like I'll be like I gotta go back and like check this one out again. Like this one's dope, or
Yeah.
like I want to remix this, or I want to start something original.
Yeah. Like I want to say like for me, cause like when I write, when random lyrics pop in my head for music and stuff, like I'm not organized. My shit's just like everywhere.
Yeah,
It's just a mess.
yeah, I feel that. Well, it's controlled chaos in a sense. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it may not be organized to me, but to you, you probably can do what you do. Like if someone
Yeah.
looks at a project file that I made, even like a producer like Maddion, who I love, or Porter Robinson, they use same digital audio workstation or DAW that I use, FL Studio.
Mhm.
So if I looked at their project files, it would look similar, but I wouldn't really understand most of the things that they did, and they wouldn't understand most of the things that I did, but we would have accomplished the same exact thing. We just did it different ways
Yeah.
because that's kind of how it works. Like it could honestly be parallel to some kids play claw and some kids don't play claw. Like some kids play the piano, some kids don't play the piano. Some kids can write melodies by ear, some kids don't. Like they're just like things that you have to capitalize on and notice and be like, okay, I'm kind of good at this. Like let's say like you're good at doing vocals if you're having an issue and you're sitting down and you can't make anything, just go to your go-to. Like I have a go-to key, B minor. I know all the chords, everything. I if I literally can't do anything or I'm scared in a session with anyone, I don't know anything, I'd go B minor and I just go and it just starts and I get over that like hump of like oh my god, I need to create something right now. It's like no, you
Yeah.
just start with this and then build off that with the vibe that you have.
Yeah, it's the whole like don't overthink it, you know?
Yeah, don't overthink it to an extent because you have to understand when to like because the thing is like things about artists are like they're so indecisive, but you have to be so decisive because you have to you're making decisions. Like think about how many decisions you're making in like a session of making something. Like there's a million of them. You're making them every second, and it's wild. I can't even like say it in my head because there's so many things you're doing. So I mean that could get overwhelming, but it becomes this like dance. No pun intended at all. But it becomes this like dance. There's like a rhythm to it, literally,
Yeah.
literally.
It's like a tunnel vision, you know? You get in that
A
tunnel
hundred
vision and
percent.
like everything like falls into place.
Yeah, yeah, perfectly said. Yeah,
Yeah. You ever like try to make something like we were talking about video games earlier? Like something like
yeah,
inspired like just like based off or inspired off like a movie or video games or
yeah. I love Hans Zimmer. Is He's the goat. I think he's from Germany. And he did all the scores for Inception, Batman, like all those massive movies. And I watched like a YouTube video on him, and it was like very inspiring to see his process, like from because he wasn't like a classically trained musician where like he took piano classes or whatever, but it like seemed like it, like the way he was talking about it and the way he'd come up with things. You're just like this guy's like a master. So when I saw his influence that his scores would have on movies and like the directors talking about it, it's like I had no feeling of like, oh, I want to do that. I was just like inspired. You just get like these spurts of inspiration and like a dopamine rush, and you're like, oh my God, I want to go get my fix. And that fix is like making something from that feeling. It's like you get really itchy and you're like, I have to like do something. So that's when I like write down on my notes Hans Zimmer. That's it. So then when I look at it, I could go, okay, like let's see. Like I could easily pull up a movie scene on my Mac, mute it, play it back 15 seconds, and then write my own score for that 15-second scene. I've never done that before. I know friends that do that. And I do love orchestral elements in my mixes. And a lot of scores have that. Violins, cellos, all that.
yeah.
Brass.
Um I just it just got out of my mind. What was I gonna say? Um oh Shit. Alright, I'll just ask you another question. Maybe it'll come back. It'll come back. Have you performed live?
Yeah, I did right before Corona last year. So it was over actually last year, May, like 10 months before Corona. But it was,
Yeah.
yeah, Memorial Day, May, performed live in Brooklyn for about like less than 100 people, if that. But it was like a small space. So it was like, it was a cool show. Like it was a tiny show, but like it was cool. Like it was insane.
What was the energy like? Cuz like I feel like those small performances are like way more fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the artists I look up to, and I still do this, but what I would do when I was younger, I'd look up interviews and I just would watch interviews of them because I don't know why actually, but I guess I was so obsessed with seeing the like normalization of a person and being like, oh my God, this guy like seeing this guy's mom's talk about his music and being like, it's like my mom too. Like it's like we're not different. It's like it's not like this kid woke up and was like Beethoven. It's like he's doing the same. So like that and in that sense, it's interesting. But those guys would say those guys that play theaters and bigger shows would say the club settings and the small shows are way better. Not better, but they love the energy. And even comedians say that too. like they love a time. Like Joe Rogan will always say that, or all of his comedian friends, Tom Segura's shop. They're always like, I love a tiny like 200 guy. I love 200 people in a room, like 150 in like a nice space. Like obviously COVID exists. That's not happening right now.
Yeah.
But there's something about that small space where everyone can be so close to the same wavelength. Because I don't know, Rogan talks about it because I have no idea because I didn't never played a massive show before. But he's like, there's like a delay in like a joke or like a delay with like music and theater, like almost like there's different energy levels according to the like where you are.
Yeah.
So performing like on a small show, I was so stoked, and like the energy was like, it's like unexplainable to say like I can't even explain it. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
like it was every emotion at once.
I think like it's also like more personal, you know? Like if you're with a
Very
small crowd, it's like you feel like you're performing to people.
very personal. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you're like in front of like a stadium or something, I feel like it'd be like you're performing to just it's like the best word I can think of is like it's less of them being like people, you know? It's more like
Yeah.
you're speaking to like nothing
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because I don't know from experience, but I could know that playing in front of a small crowd, you could gauge what they like and don't like, and it's not like they're gonna not like something and stop dancing or whatever. But like when I'm on stage performing and like a lot of DJs that mix live, like I just go up there with like a few songs that I know I'm gonna play, and that's really it. Like I know what my intro is, and then I just ride off that, and like whatever the intro does, I'm just like, okay, I have this vibe, so let me mix into this song, and then I just keep riding off that, and you could read the audience, and it's kind of cool because you could like I can't explain it. You could like literally be on the same wavelength that they are. But I've heard producers, DJs talk about playing in front of like large crowds, like festivals, like thousands of people, and it's like what you were trying to explain before. They're playing to like just a crowd of just like they're just playing to a bunch of people, and they can't really gauge what's good or not because it's like you can't even see everyone dance at the same pace or something. It's like weird how they explained it, and I was like, that's interesting. I've never really looked at that from that angle because I've never been there, but I could see the differences. But every performer likes a smaller, likes the energy and intimacy of a smaller show.
Yeah.
Let me word that a little better
Yeah.
because everyone would love a stadium. It's the energy is unbelievable, but the intimacy of it and the connection, that's what people love. Like just like a 200, 150,
Yeah.
100.
And back to what we were saying earlier, the thing I forgot, I remember now. With the
Perfect.
yeah, with the whole like internet and electronic music, EDM and like everything. Like we were talking before the stream about like Joji and I'll bring up like Tyler the Creator too and his new stuff. Like
Oh yeah.
everything can be so different now. And like I feel like beforehand it was so set in stone what could be made. And now everything can be extremely different, whether it be good or bad. It can be just a whole new sound that no one's ever heard before.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's always been going on in every creative endeavor, but I feel like with tying in what you're saying with the internet, I'm going to tie that in also with our generation and the internet. I think because like with music, everyone always says that's like an older producer, been in it. Like there's no rules, blah blah blah. But like I feel like our generation of producers, even kids that are like 25, a little bit older than me, or guys that are older than me, like they just like the mentality of this age group just doesn't care and will do whatever the f they want to do, no matter what, and like just like stretch it beyond belief. Like there's no boundaries. Like they make the boundaries, and it's particular because like music's almost like a color. Like music is almost parallel to someone's color, as in like red, blue, white. It's specific to them. It's like a personality to them. You know what I'm saying? And you could feel that between artists and all these things. So I feel like that's why I mean also the internet. growing and going into the scene. Like I was big on Vine, um, when Vine was like super popular, just posting like 6-second clips of what I was working on. And that would transfer to SoundCloud, transfer to Twitter, and yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. And another thing with the internet, I think, is like back when rock was a big thing, like a
Yeah.
long time ago, everyone listened to rock back then. You know, that
Oh
was kind of
yeah.
like an everyone did that thing. But with the internet now, like everyone has their very specific niche, because like everyone can easily find someone with the same interests as you
Yeah.
with the internet.
Exactly.
So there's
Yeah, you
just
could
more
almost.
variation in everything.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I feel like when you say that, I'm like thinking of like almost like AI like taking over people's jobs, like the complete opposite. Like
Yeah.
those niches create spaces for influence and
Yeah.
creators. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, okay, first person shooter exists, but you ever heard of quickscoping? There's only kids that can quickscope.
Yeah.
Optic Sprat.
Exactly.
Like I love quickscoping. I still quickscope to this day.
Man,
Pellington's
you.
good, great gun. Got it maxed out. Got it maxed out. But anyway, but
Man, what
like that's
happened
the
to trick
thing,
shotting, bro?
bro. I don't know. I have
It's
no
just
clue.
gone, and it's sad.
It's sad because even back then when FaZe was doing those trick shots, tying it into my story, the music they had was super upbeat and like electronic, and a lot of times they got music from channels that were just electronic music based. And thinking back on it, I never listened to it and it was like, yo, this music's sick. I was just like, yo, this guy's nasty. Like you just didn't think about whatever, but it was like it gave you a feeling. But yeah, like those certain niches create, especially on the internet, create like there's so many of them, so many
Yeah.
various like categories. But yeah, to
Yeah.
create space for people to do what they love and what they want to do.
Yeah, like you would think like back then, like there'd only be like so many famous quote unquote people, right? But like now
Yeah.
there's so many like there's still those people that are who just famous on top. But there are the people there are small people that are like famous in their little thing. Like I
Oh
said,
yeah.
like some people that are into like, COD like CDL, like they'll know the best CDL players and stuff. And then other people who
Oh
like play COD but don't know the comp league will know all the YouTubers. You
yeah.
know, like they'll like who Futives is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I was talking to my friends, like my friends I play COD with, like they don't know who Futives is, but Futives is big in the COD scene still.
Oh, I
So it's
love
just like,
Fetus.
yeah, dude, he's insane, dude. Kid's insane.
Yeah, and he's
But
so like nice and
yeah,
just
he's
down to
hella
earth.
humble.
But yeah, he's cool.
Yeah,
He's cool. Yeah,
I
I do
remember.
follow the CDL though community, and I watched this past um when Dallas won this past in Modern Warfare. Or, yeah, Modern Warfare. Cause like I love video games and I love Call of Duty. I've been playing Call of Duty my whole life, and I probably could never do something like that because I overthink too much and I can't like turn it off and just play. There are like sometimes where I can, but like there's sometimes where I just like can't. So like when I see it as like a outside looking in, I'm like, yeah, I have so much respect for these guys. Like this is so cool. Like I love watching this. It's like so interesting. And what's also cool is I was watching a podcast. I think it was Hex's podcast with Gunless, and it's actually the most emotional podcast ever. It's wild. He was talking about how his parents were like alcoholics and he was growing up in Canada, and he just would get screamed at. He would just put his headphones on and just play COD 14 hours a day. He was like put music on and just escape every single day. And the way he was talking about it, it was like sadistic, but like I was like I feel you. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, I know. I get it. Like, yeah, like not like I had like some crazy trauma like that. I mean, everyone has shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, it's to use that and then just be like tunnel vision, like what we were talking about before.
yeah,
Just let's go. Let's turn it the f on. Like, let's go. So seeing that's so inspiring. And then I got like super into like following all those guys, and individual players on the teams and get to know them. It's super interesting because they're so talented and they grind their asses off.
Yeah, it's
And I have
insane.
respect for people that do just grind. I have respect for people that grind for, doing something they really love to do and they're passionate about.
Yeah,
It's very contagious.
it's a hard thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if
Cuz
it was easy, everyone would do it.
yeah, if it was easy everyone would do it. And there's so many distractions now, especially
Yeah,
with
yeah,
really everything going. Literally everything is a distraction. Like
yeah. I mean, you
there's
could
the
you could
news,
make
there's
anything a
yeah,
distraction if you needed to. Yeah,
there's the news, like everything. Yeah, anything is distraction in and of itself.
yeah,
But yeah, these people who grind and they put in that work to really make something, it's special, you know?
oh yeah,
And I feel like a lot like everyone who has grinded and made it always say like if you just grind it out, it'll work out.
yeah. And
Yeah.
what that in that statement means every single day, no matter what outcome, just keep doing what feels right, and it's gonna happen time and time again. These little wins are gonna add up and get bigger and bigger and bigger, and before you know it, that overnight success, as they say, overnight success takes 10 years. Like
Like
it's like you just yeah, pretty much exactly what you were saying. Just piggybacking off that.
do you know the rapper Snot?
Never heard.
So he's a rapper. He really like kind of just blew up recently, but he's like an
Yeah.
example of that. He's been making music for like 3 4 years already, but he used to like he's like a SoundCloud rapper, but he's not one of those SoundCloud rappers who blew up overnight from like TikTok or anything, you know? Because you know that happens
Yeah.
now. Because TikTok will blow someone up instantly
Yeah,
overnight.
for like a week or a few months, but
Yeah,
it dies out.
but
It's not, you know,
yeah,
long
but
term.
like I feel like if you do blow up instantly, like you don't, it's hard to keep it, you know?
Yeah, because it's not really that genuine. It's not as genuine as it should be. Because like I've gotten viral on TikTok, but like not from my own videos, like my music. Like I think this guy posted a TikTok during the summer, before the summer, like things I like his favorite songs, and it was just like song covers flipping every single beat. And two of them were like two of my remixes. There's a Never Be Like You remix and the Billie Eilish remix.
Yeah,
And my plays like spiked
skyrocketed.
like
Yeah,
crazy. And I was like, what's going on? And it actually like lasted. It's still like going on. Actually, when I look at my stats, like it's still residuals from that. And it definitely helped out because it like gives you all these people, gives you all these attention, and then like filters them out, and then you get like 150 like new fans
yeah.
that are like, this guy's dope, or like like whatever the number is. But yeah, things happen. It's just how do you react when they happen, and what do you do? Do you like sit and watch, or do you like keep going? I think I put out another remix while that was happening.
Yeah.
I think, but just to like keep going, and just to, yeah, it was I did that in May. But yeah, I'm always trying to like, because once I finish a project, I'm always on to the next one. But I'm never working on one singular project at a time. Like it's never ever like that.
Yeah,
It's just all of them,
yeah,
whatever I feel like.
from a listener's perspective, like with the internet now, this kind of ties into it. It is very easy and like honestly kind of fun to find new music, you know?
Oh yeah,
Like there are a lot
yeah,
of people that I've listened to that I just found just randomly through like SoundCloud autoplay, Spotify autoplay, you know,
yeah.
that I love now, that I listen to nonstop. And a lot of these people are like super low key.
Yeah, I'm that person to a lot of people, which is interesting because like in there's this app called SoundCloud Pulse. You could really look into your stats, and I could see like how many people a week, a day, a month, or a year, whatever timeline. I could see like almost every single stat. But one of the stats is you could see how many people came from a suggested song or just like a shuffle play next song. Like let's say you look up a song, the next song is just like a random song, but it's related somehow in some algorithm. Like it could tell me how many times someone listened and then liked it from that. And you do get like you do get an audience from that
Yeah.
for sure.
And
But it
I
has
just
to be
want to say,
good.
I want to say this too. Like I don't know if it applies directly, but with every person that I've like listened to beforehand, because like I think it's just because more so that if I find someone randomly and I really like them, then there's a very good chance that other people are also randomly finding that person and really liking it. Because you know how like algorithms and all that, like they want to play the same music
Yeah.
and they stick to that. And those people, it just snowballs for them, and they get big off of it,
Yeah, for
or they
sure. I
grow
mean,
off of it, I should say.
I before when I played my show last May, I put out a remix in that January, so a few months before that, and it did really well. And I had other songs on SoundCloud doing well, and I've been doing it for like a few years at that time, pretty much all high school. Um, when I was a freshman in college. So, but tying into like the stats and everything, and I that's when I first saw the influence that like I had, or just pretty much I had, because you don't like see like seeing like what you're saying, like people like listen to like low key artists. It's like all these people had one thing in common and they listened to me. And then when I met them after the show, they tell me, and it was drastically different than looking at a stat.
Yeah.
Like looking at my song get over 100,000 plays is less than the feeling of five people coming up to me saying they love my music and just talking to them. It's like
Yeah.
wild. Like I
Cause
genuinely was. It was such an emotional moment after the show, but it was so. That was when I. That's when it clicked for me. Like, okay, this is like what I'm doing. Like, I get it. Like, I got it. Like, this is it. Because like, it's unimaginable. Like, it's on. I can't put it into words. Like, because you see it, but you don't. You never have these people come up to you, and that's only a little bit. So yeah, sorry I rambled, but it's just like
no,
it's
you're
it's
fine.
super like it's
It's
close to
like
my heart. It's
yeah.
cool, It's really
It's like
inspiring.
it's like when you're looking at it on an app, it's just kind of like numbers to you, right?
Yeah,
But when these people really talk to you about it, you realize like these are real people, and it's just like an unreal feeling.
yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, like I don't
It,
know.
it
This is
is.
like a far stretch of a relation, but like I said, like I hate saying it. I'm a TikToker, but you know
No, you don't hate saying it. Own it.
it's so weird. You're right. You're right. You're right. But like it just looks like numbers when I look at my followers. But I was in the New York City one day. I was in the city, and some girl comes up to me and it's like, "Do you do TikTok? Can I have a picture?" That was like unreal to me. I was
Yeah.
like, "Damn, these are I forgot like these are real people."
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've been to like shows around where I live, and like as like a listener with my girlfriend or whatever, and I've gotten noticed, and that's wild. That's just wild. And that's like 2 3 years before I played my first show, like a year ago. So the feeling's indescribable. But I
Yeah.
feel like what you're saying about you hating to admit you're a TikToker, I got better and more confident in myself when I was straight up and just told people that like, no, no, I make music. Like this is what I do. And whatever the opinion had, I let it happen. But if it was like bad or like mean or whatever, I didn't really care. But everyone cares to an extent. But it's like, how do you react to that? It's like you drives the f out of me because they can say what they want, but you don't have 20,000 followers maybe out of a fluke.
Yeah.
Maybe you actually are really good at making content, and maybe people really want to see your videos. So it's almost like an imposter syndrome. It's like you're like, what do you think you like don't deserve it? It's like I felt more confident in my craft when I started just like owning it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
Because
that
like
makes perfect sense.
I don't like talk about that with anyone because like it never it's like a never thing. But I feel like a creative person has that moment where it's like this is like your little secret. It's like this is your thing. It's almost like you have a superpower and no one talks about it. You don't want to talk about
Yeah.
it. Like this is my thing I do. Like, it's different, it's fun. And that's awesome. And then like on the other hand, then everyone finds out, and then you feel like you have to prove something and then they're expecting it
Yeah.
or like blah 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 blah.
Another
But I
thing with
felt
like,
owning it helped
yeah,
it.
yeah, no, that makes sense because I was thinking about it. Like, you don't want to be like, yeah, I make music because you don't want to be judged as, because there's a lot of people that just go out and say, I make music,
Yeah,
and like,
for sure.
you don't want to be judged as like, I don't want to say it's not good, but like, you know what I mean, and like, you don't
Yeah,
want to
I
be like
mean,
in the same category as those people because like, you'd rather be like quiet about it.
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I get what you're saying because I'm not specifically saying because I really dislike people that boast about what they do, not post, boast.
Boast, yeah,
Like, what I'm saying? Like they're like I have this person on Snapchat is from my town. He makes music, he makes beats, and he just goes on and on about all this stuff. And like I don't do that, but like specifically, I owned it with my family and like friends, like close friends. I'd be like, "Yo, this is a song I made. Like, let me know if it's good." And
yeah,
at a time, it'd be like okay, and they'd be like, "That's not bad." And then all these times happened, and then I play my show, and I got like all 12 of my friends there.
yeah,
They're like all it's like super. It's cool.
yeah.
I can't explain it. I wish everyone could have that feeling because it's magical.
Yeah, like when I was over Thanksgiving, my brother was here, and my brother is like way old. My brother's 30, right? And I'm 17. So like I never really talked to him before, right? So he barely knows anything about me. And I told you like I make my music, and he was like playing me songs, cause like he listens to a lot of EDM.
Yeah.
So like he was just playing me songs and asking how I felt, and then I was just like, took a lot of courage, but like I was just like, you want to hear one of my songs? And I played him one of my songs, and he was like, I like it. Like he's not into like the slow sad type thing, so he's like, it's not my thing, but I like it. And he's like, I didn't know you could sing, I didn't know you could rap, and I'm like, that felt really good, you know.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
it's a nicer feeling owning up to it. Now that I think about it, yeah,
Yeah, it's perfect. It because then it like compounds and then you get more confident in it because after doing that 10 times to a few people, some friends, a family member, blah blah blah, you go into the next session like I know what the F I could do. Like I'm not like
yeah.
I could do this. Like I know what I'm
It's
doing.
confidence
Like
building.
and then like you do like all right, F all that like negative energy. Let's like create shit. Like let's get like then you get into a mood. You're like, okay, like what do I want? And then you look at it from like a different perspective instead of like being in there like, should I even be doing this? Like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, wow, shut up. Like it's not like that because after you like get that validation from other people,
Yeah,
even if it's bad, it's just like to let me know so I could like grind and work on it and like dissect it like crazy. I
yeah.
would just look up every thing
It's
on
back.
YouTube that I have
Yeah,
question marks.
it's back to the thing we said earlier. You're like, don't overthink it.
Yeah, to
You
an
know?
extent, you cannot overthink it. You have to be very decisive, as
Yeah,
every creative is indecisive, pretty much.
yeah.
It's
It's the
wild,
whole.
but yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
the whole thing. Besides the whole release it when it's perfect thing,
yeah,
that's
close
the
to
only
it.
thing. Yeah, close to it at least. Yeah, but yeah, it's like that. Um, I'm just looking at more questions I had. Would you change anything about how the music industry is now and like how blowing up works?
I feel like no, because as much as there's all these other opportunities for people to blow up or whatever there is, I genuinely believe that ever since I even started, though, I believe that like if it's good, it's good. That's why I made my name just my name because I was like, I don't want to. I'm overthinking this name thing. Let's not
Yeah,
do that. Just keep it Jake Gersha, which is just my name, and let the music speak for itself. Let people know this is me. They know it's me. But I was like, ever since the start, I was like, I want it to speak for itself, like, like straight up. And then I just like started capitalizing on like being more confident with that stuff and like pursuing it.
It's like a no alias thing. Like this is my music. It's a
Yeah,
whole
I
owning.
did.
Yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
owning up to it.
Yeah, and it was even, I think it was more personal for me thinking back on it now. I think it was more not even just about the music. I think it was more just me being confident. Because I was always a confident kid, but I would always like second guess and like not be like crazy confident to where I was like a bull. I would always be like hesitant somewhat. And this was the first time where I was like, no, I'm going all in. Like, I'm going all in. Like, I'm just gonna get so good. But like it's not even like that. It's not even like that wasn't my motivation. I just loved it. Like I was so into it. Like you can't I feel like you can't do anything like that and you don't love it. Because you're just gonna stop doing it. Because
Yeah,
you're gonna get bored.
yeah. And another thing with the whole music industry now is like, you don't like before you would need a record to make money. You need a record label to do
Yeah, you
anything
would take
really.
up shelf space. I
Yeah.
mean, now there's
You don't
unlimited
need
song.
anything. You don't need a record label to be big. You don't need anything to
No.
make money off of it.
Yeah,
You
most
just
artists that are big now are independent because they know I mean, the record labels are pretty lucrative because it's a business, and they're like, "You're not make. I mean, I'm not making the music, but I can make money off your music." So it's
yeah, and like I
crazy.
can own
Like,
your music. Like
yeah, owning the. I was just gonna say owning the masters of stuff is
yeah,
wild. Like Taylor Swift's having that problem. Like, she's just trying to like, I forgot what she was trying to do, but like, you, people, not even people, artists don't understand the power of that because they don't. Most of the time, they're young, naive artists, and a lot of artists are almost like broken and like depressed, but like not at the same time. Like
yeah,
we're super like empathetic and like I can't really explain it, but like I think um
yeah.
what was I gonna say?
When they sign, oh yeah, um,
No, you could go.
yeah, yeah, when they sign to these things at young age, they're like, wow, someone's recognizing me for me and what I want to do, and I can make money off of it, and it can be a thing. So they just jump at it.
Yeah, the first time I signed a song over to a label was 2 years 2018, I think it was. And that was cool because it was like this actual like piece of paper. I get to read it, and I was like, "Wow, this is cool." But it wasn't like if I told myself when I first started that I'd have a song that's signed to a label, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm famous." But like nothing, it doesn't really do much. I mean, it does, like very much so, drive traffic and everything. But there's a sense of that's a little goal that you don't overlook. You know what I'm saying? That's just like that little goal, and then like, okay, and then the next one. And it will
Yeah,
happen over time. These things will happen. You're like, oh my God, how did I get here? And you're like, well, it happened just over the time spread out.
yeah.
And it only comes with that consistent grind.
It's the short term goals for the long term goal thing. You know?
Yep,
Yeah. And
for sure.
another thing about the whole record label thing. It's like remember the whole Kanye breakdown with the Grammys and like
Uh-huh.
the whole thing where he released like 60. He released like 120 tweets in like an hour,
Yeah.
just like leaking his contracts and saying it was dumb and pissing on a
Yeah.
Grammy.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I was watching him talk about that on the Rogan podcast, and he was so adamant on not getting. He's so adamant on helping out younger artists not get screwed over, and I
Yeah,
like that. It's almost like an older brother thing as an artist. It's like that's cool. Like you want someone to like look out for you like that because record labels do not give a crap about your craft and your vision and this BS. It's not BS, but like they don't care about that. They want to make money. You have a product that can make money, give me the product that can make money. And then
yeah.
they like there's this like lucrative aspect to it.
You
And
know,
not all of it's lucrative,
yeah,
but most of it can be.
it's a stereotypical greedy businessman type stuff. You know?
Yep, yes sir. It's
Yeah.
it's sad, but you gotta be like strong minded about it and know when to say no and know when to be like, okay.
And the whole remember the whole Kanye the remember he was supposed to release Yandi, that album.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
yeah.
that whole album was a big like fuck you to record labels because he made the entire Yandi album and then leaked it.
Independently. Yeah.
Yeah, and then leaked it
Uh-huh.
and then went and made was it Jesus is King, I think.
Yeah, that was a big FU saying, I made this, and the record label goes, now I have this. No one can hear it. And then kind of goes, FU, I have it. Here it is. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, I can do whatever I want. And then, like, say, psych, and then take it down and then, like, start a whole other album. Like,
yeah,
that's Kanye doing typical Kanye crap, which is
yeah,
so
exactly.
cool.
Same with
Like,
the
this man has that much power to do that.
same with the Ye album, the Wyoming one. That whole thing was like,
Yeah.
yeah, he like made a whole album, scrapped it, made an album in 2 weeks, and dropped it.
Yeah, now think about this is the cool thing about Kanye because some people like I could be making an album right now, but like you wouldn't know. People knew Kanye was making an album.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the thing about his brand. Like he makes it known. He's like, I'm going here in this place where no one is, blah, to make the music, and then people start speculating and talking about it. And like that, like he's a genius in that way. Like you have to give props to the guy. Like he's like a genius. He's on overdrive
Yeah.
24/7.
I mean, like,
But
yeah,
yeah,
all
good
these
point.
crazy people are geniuses, dude.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's yeah, definitely. Because I watched the Joe Rogan Kanye interview and I was like, wow, this guy is
Yeah.
on fire. But like and Rogan talks about it in a way that's interesting because he's like, I get why people have this predisposition of Kanye because of this, he only has 140 characters to tweet and there's like little blurbs and blah blah blah. But it's like if you just hear the man talk and just talk about him, he's just like, that's just how he is. His brain just goes off and he just says things, and
Yeah.
it's interesting to see that because you're like, I know Kanye from like graduation, like all these albums like that are like amazing, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then just seeing this like crazy guy talk, you're like, how can I see how that came from what I'm seeing? And then you start to let it see it unfold, and you're like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
you want to call him like a genius, but you also want to call him a psycho.
Yeah.
Same thing. Like
Exactly.
it's wild. Yeah, it's wild
Yeah.
how that is, but
And the whole thing, like,
for
another thing
sure.
about Kanye is like when he released his like Jesus is King album, people like I don't know, people that don't know were like, why is this all of a sudden? But then you look back at it, like Kanye's been talking about Jesus religious. He's been making a lot of religious music for a long time.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and like that was the first thing that
Or
blew
yeah, I know
everything
what you're
up.
saying, like religious influence or like
Yeah,
choir influence. Because I watched a lot
yeah,
of interviews on him talking about um Life of Pablo album, and there's Waves was with Childish Gambino, I think. He like
yeah,
produced it, I think. And there's a video on YouTube of them. If you look it up, Childish Gambino listening to Waves for like the first time, and it was like the pre-production track, and it was with a choir and like a bunch of like alto, soprano, bass, whole real deal a cappella group. And it's cool because Kanye talked about that also in the Rogan
yeah,
podcast about how that influences him with the that natural element of having all these people in a room. He compared it to a stadium, like if you're in a stadium in a game and the crowd goes crazy. He's like, what if that same volume is people singing a massive like melody? And he
yeah.
was
No, I
explaining
saw
how
that
like
part of the video.
massive it was, and I was like, interesting. Like now I see
Yeah,
this, and
and like
that's
he
then you
was
see
like,
his genius working, and you're like, whoa.
yeah, he was talking about like how like unity, like you can bring everyone together with music, and
Yep.
everyone can just be at peace as one.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool as a listener from your perspective. You say that because as an artist, I was like, yes, I want people to understand that. Like, that's like true as hell. Like, it's not some like woo woo BS. It's like there's a sense of like community and like I don't know how to explain it, but when he talks about it, it makes so much sense because I've seen videos where like I have a buddy that lives in Michigan, and he went to like one of the Kanye Sunday service things, and he was like, "Yo, it was like," he said, "I've never experienced anything like that," and I wasn't expecting him to say that because I was like, "Concert, this, that." He's like, "Nah, I've never experienced anything like that. It was like a experience. It wasn't
Yeah,
like, yeah, it's
yeah.
interesting."
One of my friends went to one too. He said it was just something else. He said it was just nothing you would ever expect it to be.
Yeah.
and it wasn't like a. It was just like a feel good, just feeling moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that guy Kanye, like, if you don't know, you think he's crazy, but then when you look into it deep, it's he's a what's it called, smart guy,
Yeah,
really smart, genius person.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
He's a smart businessman too.
yeah.
Really knows what he's doing.
Mhm. Everything's like a business now, you know.
It is.
Everything's
And
like a
if you don't have
business.
that mindset, you're not really gonna like you're gonna only get so far.
Mhm.
It's like if I don't have any social media or don't put any music out, you're only gonna get so far.
Yeah, like
I
what I
can
was
be the
saying.
best like ever, but like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So there has to be that mix of marketing. Like marketing, I feel like in today's society is social media.
yeah,
It's not really what it was like because I'm in business school now, and like marketing is like there are other aspects of marketing, but like marketing and today's society is social media because like if I'm talking about music and I say how do you market, it's all social media. Like where's the other? It's the what is it on the label cover? Like is the marketing on the CD cover or the like that doesn't exist anymore. It's like how do you market this stuff? So that's why artists have these brands and Travis Scott makes his own clothing
yeah,
and like
and
things
like
like that.
yeah,
That's the
Tyler.
marketing aspect
Tyler
of it.
has the whole golf wang stuff. All
Hundred
these,
percent.
yeah, all
Because
these
you'll
big
wear it,
artists
I'll
now.
wear it, we'll see each other, and there'll just be this thing that we don't say anything, but we're like, oh, like
Yeah,
he knows what's up.
yeah,
Like that. That's what's cool about it, because then it creates that community aspect. Obviously, Kanye easy,
yeah,
but like
exactly.
it
I was
just
gonna say.
creates that community aspect, like community aspect of it. That makes
Yeah,
people like, oh, this is cool.
especially with Kanye Yeezy, like he said, like he's like trying to make Yeezys more available to everyone. Like he doesn't want it to be
I
a
think it was
rich
like
person thing.
$30. He was like, I want him to be like $30
Yeah,
and like made super cheap. And I was like, when he said that, it was interesting. I never like thought of a person with that much influence and power and money would say something like that because it resonated. And I was like, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? Like if you had like it's interesting how someone at his stature would make something and I get why it sells at so much money. Like I literally have a pair of Yeezys right there. But
yeah,
like for him to say that is a precedent to like who he is as a person.
yeah.
Like an asshole wouldn't do that.
Or
Like
like
he's a good guy.
yeah, or like Lil Nas X. You
Say that
know,
again?
someone in chat said, my cousin, he said, Lil Nas X. You know how Lil Nas X blew up
Mm.
with with the whole.
Yeah, for sure.
He knew what he
He
was
his
doing.
story was I think he graduated high school or something, or he was about to like move out of his mom's house or something, and he was like, I gotta make something. I need to make this beat, and he was like trying to like he wanted this country rap beat. He wanted this thing, and he was trying out lyrics, and then he just said, "Oh, I want to take your horse on Old Town Road," blah blah blah, and he was like, "Yo, that's it." And then he made it, and then months later went insane.
Went insane. He
Like,
knew what he was doing. He would like put it on Reddit everywhere, blew it up on
yeah.
TikTok, and then TikTok, skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I remember
For sure.
seeing like the original first video for it, like before the he made an actual video. It was just a bunch of Red Dead gameplay with the song in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, think
Yeah,
about how that's like the most low budget thing. There's no budget there. It's just using what you have to make something.
yeah,
And that's cool because you'll see that. And you don't even have to be an artist musician wise. You could be someone that wants to play professional video games or paint or do this or that. You could see that, or a boxer. You could see that and be like, oh, wait, anyone can do it. Because that's why I used to watch a lot of interviews of a lot of people in my field that I looked up to. Because I feel like if people do that, you'd notice that like there's so many similarities, and you gauge like similar like out of all these people, they always emphasize hard work and just grinding. Like it doesn't matter who they are, what they are. When they always talk about hard work and grinding, there's always like this emphasis on it and like this culture behind it. So it's I don't know, it's really cool to see someone else's like psyche that like
yeah,
as like a music producer, same as me, but like completely different because they learn different, make something different, all
yeah.
that good
With
stuff.
music, like you don't necessarily need anything to make music. if you're creative enough.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because when I started, I wasn't making music, I was mixing. So I was on an iPad with an app, and then I got a controller where I could plug in my iPad and physically do it. And then
Yeah.
I downloaded the program on my computer, and then that's it. Like you literally, that's all you need. Like obviously the program costs money, but obviously pirating stuff and torrents exist. So everything within that is very simple.
Yeah.
It's a very easy fix. Um, but yeah, for sure. And I think that's a thing that, when I was talking about before our generation, I think our generation sees that and feels that. Like, I
Yeah.
think for us, it's like so tangible. Like, we so get that and understand that, like, no, yeah, like you could like literally do anything and get famous. Like, if you want to do something, like people are like, yeah, you could do it. Like, if I wanted to be music in the music industry so long ago, there's this like you sit, you think, and then you're like, ah, so much. Like, I have to do so much. There's so much. Like, I need a studio. I can't record. Like, there's no programs on my computer that exist. I need to rent a studio. I don't have money to rent a studio. Then it becomes all this like. Then you're like, yeah, I can't. I'm not gonna do it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like for our generation, it's like things are so easy to where it's
You can
like you
just
could
do
just
it.
fire off these things. Like, do I like this? Do I not? Do I like this? Do I not? I like this. Let's stick with it. And that's it.
Yeah. Or like
It's like
another
super
thing,
quick to figure it out.
you know Mr. Beast. Obviously, you know Mr. Beast. Who doesn't know who Mr. Beast is, right?
Yeah,
But
for
like he
sure.
said, like
Yep.
all you need to be famous on YouTube is a phone. That's all you need.
Yeah.
You just gotta know, you know.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
it's
he had
more
a phone,
work.
but he's not going to make a 4 minute video. He's going to plug it in charge and make a video of him counting to whatever the hell he counted
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
It's like that's what makes him different. That's what makes Travis Scott's voice sound what Travis Scott's voice sounds like. That's what makes J. Cole sound like J. Cole. That's what makes Mr. Beast Mr. Beast because like, he's doing that niche. And like
Yeah.
that is like so interesting to see because like I love seeing that because it's like I would have never thought of that. It's like almost you see that and you're like, ah, I kind of wish I would have done that almost. Like I wouldn't have, but like that's a good idea and it's interesting how something so simple, like if you told that to someone, they'd be like, bro, chill. Like, what do you mean count to 100,000 on a video or like count to a
Yeah.
million? Like, chill out. But like this man does it. But that's and I'll tie it back to what I said about doing things that you love. He really probably only kept going because he really was so freaking passionate about it.
Yeah.
And he was so passionate about, and he was also in school, and he would make videos and be like, "Hi, future self. I hope you're doing successful." Blah blah blah. I like get that. I totally get that because he probably had outsiders that like knew he did YouTube and was like, "I'm not just gonna be this YouTube guy. Like I know what I know what I could do, and I'm gonna do it." And then he's like a perfect example of that working his butt off
Yeah.
to like do something crazy. Like
Yeah. He said.
he did that to the biggest
Yeah.
extent.
He said like I've always wanted to be a YouTuber. I'm gonna be a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's very simple. Like when you're able to do that, it gets you past the hurdle of this stage of like, am I doing this? Am I not? Like, what do I want to do? It's like, no, for me, it's a few years ago, I was like, yeah, I'm just doing music. Like, I
Yeah.
just knew it. Even since I think when I started, I knew it because there were other hobbies I picked up beforehand that I liked, but then just stopped.
Yeah.
Music was a lot different. It like stuck, and I was like, okay, with it.
And it all ties back to like you gotta. It's a work hard thing. It's a grind thing. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if you
Oh,
grind towards it, because like with the thing we said, like you don't need all these expensive things to do it. It might be easier if you had these expensive things, but you don't need it. If you grind towards it and you work hard, it'll work it. It'll work itself out.
yeah, I think the most least expensive and free thing that every single person has is their mind. And I think that's where the biggest creative things come from.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you could give everyone synthesizers or everything. Like I could give you all the synthesizers you want, blah blah blah, a studio, the best monitors, and then you could just give me a laptop and headphones, and I'd probably make something that's up to par with you, or maybe even a little better.
Yeah.
Because and it's nothing obviously against you, but it's tying back
No.
to like it's like you don't need anything. Like
Yeah.
you could see that, and you would probably be inspired and be like, "Damn, you made that shit on your computer with headphones." You're like, "Fuck, like I can lay in bed and do this." I'd be like, "Yeah, bro, I'll show you how to do it." Like that. That's the cool thing about the music industry is like we're like cool like that. It's a competition, but the most friendliest competition. It's not. It shouldn't even be called a competition, but it is almost. You
Yeah.
know, but it's super cool because like I said, I'll send you samples. Like I do that to my
Yeah.
friends all the time. Like I'm down to do that. You let me know what kind of samples. I'll send you your snares, your hats, kicks, everything you need, loops, whatever you want. Like I got you, like for free. Like it's all like that's how it works. Like
Yeah.
because when I was in your spot or anyone else's spot that was like just starting out like that, I'd want that. I'd want someone that would just be so chill and open and be like, "Yo, I got you. Like, don't worry about it. Like, if you have any questions, let me know." I'm always like that because I'm always down to help because it's very rewarding.
Yeah. Cause like when you're an artist, it's just more of like we want more creativity in the world, and I
Yeah.
will help you put your mind on the paper.
Yeah, just because we know how good it feels. We know how good that feeling feels when you're making
Yeah.
something. So it's like, hey, if I could just give you like some ingredients, I'm gonna give you the ice cream, I'm gonna give you the sprinkles, I'm gonna give you all this. Just make your own sundae and
Yeah.
find out what's really good for you. And it's gonna feel rewarding, and you're like, damn, this is good. And then you kind of start getting on your own wave and figuring out how to do it your own way. And like, how, you know what I'm saying? I feel
Yeah.
like for you, don't compare. Don't be like, I'm doing this, but this person's doing this. Just say, no, I'm doing this for now. Just this is what I'm doing for now. And then
Yeah.
it's going to morph into this and this and this. And that will be your story because it's personal to you. It's not going
Yeah.
to be like, you could always like, because like I could listen to an artist and be like, this guy got famous at like 14 and be like, I'm 21. So what is this? Or I'm 20. Like, what does this mean? I'm not going to get famous. It's like, no,
Yeah.
that was just his story. That's just his thing. But that's why when I watch interviews, I take certain things from people, certain things like that. I obviously wouldn't
Yeah.
take,
Like
but
when I look at like Billie Eilish, like
yeah,
this girl is fucking unbelievably famous and talented for her age, right? And I'm like, damn,
yeah,
do I really got to be famous at 16 to be famous? But then I look at like Joji, and like Joji wasn't big in music until he was like 27.
yep.
So it doesn't really matter.
No, not at all, not one bit. And I feel like that you people find that out that are trying to go on an endeavor that's a creative pursuit in any way or a competitive pursuit in any way. They find out quick that that doesn't matter. Like because like a lot of people that aren't in it or like older people have a predisposition like oh, like you're old now, like get a job, like blah blah blah. But like no, like if you listen to Gary Vee, he'll tell you if you're 40 years old,
Yeah.
you're young as hell. So I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but it's interesting because like older people have predispositions of that. They're like, oh, like you're older, blah blah blah. But now that this generation can see on YouTube that like no, there's a million possibilities. This guy's this culture, this guy's this ethnicity, this guy does this guy does this like this, or this woman does this like this, and then all of those things are out there for people, and it's like the people are magnets, and they just look at him, and then when I see someone, it's like, yo, this sticks. This is like for me. I was watching a podcast. This girl, she was like, I had two brothers. I was the youngest daughter. I lived in Boulder, Colorado, and I always wanted to do better than them. We went rock climbing, and I was like, once I got on the wall, she was like, this is what I want to do. I got off. I told my dad, let's go rock climbing. It's like, that's so cool. I love hearing that. Like, I have no interest in rock climbing. I'm very much so afraid of heights. I watched Free Solo, not for it. Super cool though. But like, watching things like that, it's cool. Like, I love that. I love when people are like passionate about like stuff and like are able to talk about it and like talk about how they are doing what they're doing and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. So I'm gonna end the podcast here.
for
But
sure.
for sure. Thank you for everyone for coming on. I gotta do this quick shout out thing. Thank you Skulls Crack for following and Vivioli Ravioli for following. Thanks for coming on, guys. But yeah, thanks for hopping on podcast, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Peace. Oh wait, hold on. Thank you, Jake Gersha, for coming on. I almost forgot to thank you, bro. My bad.
No, you're chilling, dude. You're chilling. Don't worry about it.
Nah. But yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for everyone for coming on, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.